It truly feels so great to be back creating content. Thanks to all of you who do enjoy this little journey with me. We're having a wonderful spring-winter day here in Sweden. The sun is really warming my home up, and I thought it is finally time to make a follow-up video on the second edition of the Warcraft Cookbook. As you might see, the gift version came with an apron. From Mist of Pandaria. It says no means test kitchen, burn everything. And I really enjoy this apron. This cookbook is themed a lot around the newer expansions from World of Warcraft. Unfortunately, a lot from the Shadowlands, which most people do not enjoy. But there are a lot of great recipes from Mist of Pandaria. So I will be going through this cookbook today in a soft-spoken / whispered tone. I am really longing after creating cooking content here on my channel. So this can see as a little preview of sorts. I really hope you enjoy this video, so sit back and relax. Thank you. Here we have the new flavors of Azeroth, the official cookbook by Chelsea Monroe Castle. I got this as a Christmas gift and I was so happy to receive this cookbook. On the first page, or inside the cover when you open up, is a map of the World of Warcraft at the point that this book got released. With the Maelstrom in the middle, Eastern Kingdoms, Kalindor, Northrend, Pandaria, Broken Isles, and Kalderas and Sandalar. New flavors of Azeroth. With a very beautiful picture from the intro cinematic of Sandstorm South. And so we have the different contents. Introduction to farming, leveling, about locations, about that other cookbook, and buff your beasts. We have some basics, recipes from Kalindor, the Broken Isles, Eastern Kingdoms, Kultiras, Zuldazar, Pandaria, Shadowlands, Darkmoonfare, and then Nashatar, Northrend, Outland, and beyond. Dietary chart, conversion charts, index about the authors. I'm really looking forward to some Outland recipes. Now we're on to the Burning Crusade Anniversary Classic servers. And the Darkmoonfare. These are really thematical. And there are a lot from the old world, but a lot from the newer world as well. Everything looks so yummy. Introduction. Greetings, friends. When I was a young cub in Pandaria, I was eager to learn everything I could about cooking. Many folks who were passing by helped me along with a few words of advice or a recipe or two. One very patient adventurer even gave me daily lessons when I was just starting out. But soon I would learn all I could in Pandaria, and the wide world of Azeroth beckoned me. I adventured for a little while, but it turns out adventuring is actually pretty tough. I come to terms with the fact that I am much better at cooking, so I swapped my travel satchel for an apron, taking a job at a restaurant in Dalaran for a time. I continued to hone my skills, and with help from adventurers like you, I was eventually able to open my very own test kitchen at an inn where I go cooking up some delicious dishes. This is a little bit from Naomi. Introduction to farming. When I was a cub, it seemed like everyone and their uncle was taking up farming. I remember all those clodhoppers turning up in Hallville, not knowing the difference between a yunchy crunch carrot and a pink turnip. But with the help of Farmer Yoon and the rest of the Tillers Union, a lot of them had pretty green thumbs by the time they were done working the good soil of the valley. Leveling. Now if you're just getting started like I once was, you'll want to take it easy. Don't jump to the hardest recipes in the book just because they're there, or else you might ruin something. Don't ask me how I know. So the different leveling units or skills of the cooking recipes: apprentice, journeyman, expert, artisan, and master. About that other cookbook. Now, some of you may have seen another cookbook kicking around Azeroth with recipes for traditional dishes like cranberry chutney, essential brew espressos, and Dutch-kicking chimera rock chops. It's called World of Warcraft, the official cookbook. What a strange title. I was so shocked to find out that someone else has already gathered all the classic recipes from across Azeroth while I was busy learning to cook. It is very unfortunate that it's such a loud day here over at my apartment. I don't know. Other people have issues, but it's really bad. Buff your feasts, beyond tasty pairings. I was also inspired to create a few full menus that combine recipes from both cookbooks. Oh, look, it has examples for Brewfest, the Dark Moon Fair, Halloween, and the Day of the Dead. Love is in the air, Pilgrim's Bounty, and Pirate's Day. That's so really cool, so you can celebrate it in real life. Here is some of the basics: hot spices, storming seasoning herbs, medley of transplant spices, amber sauce, gravy spray, and coral on it. Just look at these wonderful recipes. You have hot spices from Alterac Valley. Looking for a seasoning with some savory kick to it? Then here it is, the mix for you. This blend includes a few Sichuan peppercorns that will leave your mouth tingling and feeling as though you're about to cast a breath of fire on your meal. And the classic Stormwind seasoning herbs from Stormwind. Nothing beats a good blend of savory herbs. This mixture is a regional specialty of Storming City. And medley of transplanter spices from Oribos. Try as I might, never could quite work out all the nuances of what went into this spice blend as I made my own version. It's easy to assemble and taste great on a wide variety of dishes. The ember sauce from Rev. I thought I knew all about the best peppers for cooking until I received my first shipment of ember chilies. They got terrific flavor that enhances just about any food you serve with it. Gravy spray. We don't have a picture for this one, and it's from Waycrest Manor in Trustvar. It's a little known fact that the gravy spray spell was actually inspired by the Great Gravy Incident that occurred during the founding years of Kultiras. And the Coralani looks so yummy. Mildenhall Meadery in Stormsong Valley. While it's technically not true that battles have been fought over this honey, it's good enough to fight over. Then we're on to some of the Kalimdor recipes. Soothing broth, lava-scale minestrone, Prival Worps ice cream, Prival Worps crunch ice cream bars, Paladas Nutter bar, Max on the beach, molasses firewater. The soothing broth from the Cenarian wildlands in Disles. This soothing broth might not calm your average Kodo, but you will find a mug of it very welcome when you're feeling under the weather. And the lava scale minestrone from Uldum. Now, the trick to cooking a lava scale catfish is getting to the soft part under the scales. I mean, the fish live in lava, so if you think you're gonna be able to cook it over a simple campfire, you are in for a surprise. Brivelthorpe's ice cream in 1,000 Needles. I visited Brivelthorpe's boat during my journeys and had a wonderful chat with him about his growing ice cream empire. And here's also Brivelthorpe's crunch ice cream bars. They look really good with some peanuts on top. Also from 1,000 Needles. The most authentic version of this delectable dessert get its crunch from Silithid Shirin. But since lots of folk don't have the time or indication to hunt down a few Silithids, I figured I would better innovate a bit. And Belara's another bar from Mogrimar. You can find these tasty bars in the major capitals, where they're traditionally favorite treat around Hallows End. Oh, that's why I recognize them so much. A mix on the beach from Tanaris. Some time ago, I befriended an innkeeper by the name of Fizz Grimble in Tanaris, who mixed up this for me at the end of a long day. It is so good. This would be quite fun for a theme party at home. Molasses firewater in Dire Mall. Even the biggest, baddest fighters needs a little nightcap sometimes. I got this recipe off Stomper Creek after he retired from fighting in the Dire Maul arena. And some from the Broken Islands. Here we can see Suramara. Cocoa flat cakes, deep earth root straws, dark pit mushroom burgers, barracuda imp chip cookies, ruined aquavit, Suramara spiced tea. Oh, it's like pancakes there, cocoa flat cakes in Suramara. Here's a little something I stumbled across during my time in Suramara. These flat cakes are dark and moody, like a lot of places throughout the Broken Isles. And the deep earth root straws from High Mountain. Pick a pocket in High Mountain and you're likely to end up with a fight on your hands and nothing but junk to show for it. Dark pit mushroom burgers from High Mountain as well. Did you know that I just hate spiders? I wouldn't dare brave an encounter with those terrible creatures, not even for the most delicious recipe on Azeroth. Oh, this didn't look that good. It is the barracuda from my mountain, packed with perfect sustenance for the next generation of young Murlocs. This recipe is positively malicious. The loopy noodles and chunk of fish in a flavorful sauce make this an easy dish that is sure to please. It doesn't really look that good, I'm sorry. Here we have the imp chip cookies from Ashuna. Although specifically a favorite of young troublemakers, these cookies has been a hit with everyone. Looks very good, chocolate cookies. Runewood Aquavit from Halls of Valor. As a Stormheim speciality, this distilled spirits is consumed to bring vitality, and it's no wonder why. One small whip of this, especially after a big meal, will leave you feeling refreshed and ready for whatever life brings. And the Suramara spiced tea from Dalaran. A light and refreshing, this ancient Kaldurai tea recipe has more recently become popular with the mages of the Kirin Tour, who claimed it restored the mana necessary for their spell casting. Then we're on to the Eastern Kingdoms with spiced onion cheese, twice baked sweet potato, Harwin breadsticks, peppered puffballs, red rich goulash, and chewy feltafi, steam wheat, wagon bomb. Spiced onion cheese from the Blackrock Depths. Spices, onions, and cheeses are all delicious on their own, but you put them together and boy, you have got something extra special. The twice baked sweet potato from Ironforge. There is no holiday in or around Azeroth that's also feast-worthy as Pilgrim's Bounty. While there may be a good number of holiday recipes floating around, this one is my personal favorite. And the harvest breadsticks, also from Ironforge. Festivals to celebrate a good harvest can be found across many regions and cultures in Azeroth. Although nobody could tell me where this recipe originated, it's a staple of the harvest festivals in both Stormwind and Ironforge. Peppered puffballs from the Undercity in Tirisfal Glades. The Undercity of Tirisfal Glades is among the last places in the Eastern Kingdoms I would have expected to collect a tasty recipe. Here is one very iconic recipe, the red rich goulash from Stormwind. Although some folks prefer a goulash that's really thick, I like mine with a bit of more broth to it. And the chewy fennel taffy looks a little bit horrifying from Tirisfal Glades. For a wicked good treat, look no further than this seasonal delight from Tirisfal Glades. During Hallows End, right? And the steam Weedle Wagon Bomb in Halloween Forest. I never understood why this drink hasn't taken off in popularity. I mean, the number of Murloc lurkers I had to subdue before I found one carrying this is truly astonishing. Some recipes from Kultiras, and here we can see Borealis. Salty dog crackers, storm song sourdough, buttered turnip porridge, Glenbrook pudding, sailor's pie, deep fried butter cookies, sweets flavorful flan, ravenberry tarts, and cool tiramisu. The salty dog crackers from Tirgard Sound. Tirgard Sound is blessed with a bounty of seafood, and I love spending days in Borealis Harbor watching the boats unload their catches or ship out their goods. And the Storm Song sourdough from Storm Song Valley. Nobody knows how the old original starter was when the Ghanaian sailors originally settled on Kultiras. And it's continued. The sourdough bread is really hard to create. It takes a time to learn how to make a sourdough starter. Buttered turnip porridge from Borealis. Island nations often have incentive to make the best of the ingredients they have, and there's no better example than this turnip porridge. What I must say is I think the first cookbook made, even the dishes looked a little bit more thematical from World of Warcraft. Glenbrook pudding from Tirgard Sound, a popular dish in taverns and inns across Kultiras. This pudding actually got its starts at sea. And here we have the item from the cover of this book, The Sailor's Pie of Borealis. Living on an island surrounded by the bounty of the sea, it's no wonder Kulterans have so many delicious seafood recipes. Deep fried butter cookies from Borealis. This looks very, very yummy. I'm really craving something sweet right now. This recipe is a simple speciality from Borealis. This recipe is a simple speciality from Borealis, a favorite among sailors coming back into port. And tweets flavorful flan in Tirgard Sound. I love making flan or leche flan, the Filipino version. The bounty of Stormsong Valley sustains the island's nations of Kultiras, and a significant portion of that harvest comes from the valley's long-established orchards. Oh, just look at these beauties. I'm actually getting really hungry now. The ravenberry tarts from Stormsong Valley. The traditional recipe for this elegant dessert calls for a special variety of berry that grows wild on Kultiras and Suldrasar. But after a little experimentation, I found that just about any berry works equally well. And the cool tiramisu from Stormsong Valley. The Girl tyrants have come a long way from their humble origins as a plucky colonists, but in the flavors of this tiramisu you can still detect some of the familiar basil ingredients, so loved by sailors for generations. Then we're on to Suldasar, Loa Loaf, Brudus Artica, Troll Whip, Mojoito, Biardini. Loa Loaf from Tasaralar. I never met another culture that venerates its deities as deeply as the trolls of Sanalar. This cake is part of their standard rites. Looks very yummy. I have the perfect baking mold for it. Continue a pretty hard recipe to create. Brutosauritica from Tasaralar. Brutosaurs can usually be found transporting merchants' goods around Suldasar, but few outside the city know that these beasts make for a tasty meal when they're hauled for their lost wares. And the Troll Whip from Suldasar. I was treated to this satisfying frozen dessert during my travels throughout Suldasar. Whether you've been bushwhacking throughout the jungle, shopping for exotic goods in the Grand Bazaar of Tasaralar, or battling in the Mukambala dwellers guild for the better part of the day, there's no better way to counter that sticky heat than with a classic troll whip. And the Mojoito, Tasaralar, tangy citrus, robust rum, effervescent bubbles, all of this and more brilliantly combined in this recipe. And the Briartini from Nasmir, another winner from Suldasar. This cocktail incorporates some of the strong spirits favored by Sandalari trolls when they return from a long day of fishing, boating or treasure hunting. Some Pandaria recipes: crumble cakes, nutty brew buns, fried cheese dumplings, mouth, worms, cocktail stew, root veggie stew, and mad brewer's breakfast. The crumble cakes from Kunlai Summit. I was surprised to find in the crumbles of Kunlai Summit a sturdy race of miniature gourmands. Nutty brew buns from the Timeless style. My good friend Grimthorn Redbeard is known for his innovative combinations of ingredients, and this recipe is no exception. Great breakfast bread. Cheese fried dumplings from the Timeless Isles. Well, these hearty succulent delights are not to be missed next time you find yourself in the Timeless Isle. Ma's warm yogtail stew, Valley of the Four Winds. While Pandaria's lukewarm yog roast broth might be more famous, this related dish is its own special kind of delicious. And the root veggie stew from Kunlai Summit. This was one of my very favorite meals as a cub in Pandaria. Oh, this looks horrible, I'm sorry. Mad Brewer's breakfast from the Valley of the Four Winds. This is one of Master Bobo's Aaron Paul's recipes, and I can honestly say I've never come across anything like it in my travels. I don't know. It looks crazy. I love it. Shadowlands, airy ciabatta, night terrace rolls, quiet hounds, diced vegetables, brightful borscht, meaty apple dumplings, steakelmout, Arden apple pie, dusk almond mousse, and shapeberry shandy. The Irish ciabatta from Passion. You might think you don't need a recipe for more bread, but that's what happens if you find yourself far from civilization with hunger for those light dairy dough buckets. harvest rolls from Revendreth with a dough that is actually rolled into little floral shapes. This is an edible bouquet you want to harvest yourself. Quiet hounds from Moribos. Legend has it that these savory treats were originally used to distract the various hunters patrolling the Shadowlands. Diced vegetables from Passion. Now I can guess what you're thinking. Nomi, who needs a recipes for a diced vegetable? And the Prideful Borscht from Revendreth. I'm not sure how many different vegetables thrive in the Shadowlands, or how many truly edible, but this recipe is said to originate from the Prideful hamlet. Meaty apple dumplings from Oribos. Now, when most folks think of an apple dumpling, they think of something doughy and often desert-like, but no, not this time. Oh my lord. Steak a la mode from Oribos. It might seem like there are a lot of components to this dish, but with a little preparation, you too can have a dinner to die for. I thought it was a sherry, but it looks to be mashed potatoes, gravy, maybe some sour cream, and a tomato. Odd an apple pie from Ardenweald. Although there are an abundance of exotic fruit to be found in Ardenweald, their variety of humble apples is the best I've ever tasted. Dusk almond mousse from Revendreth. This almond mousse is a smooth and creamy dessert I picked up from a traveler who visited the Shadowlands and returned to tell the tale. And the Shadeberry Shandy from Revendreth. Look at that fancy glass. This beautiful drink is used too easy to knock back at the end of a long day with a bubbly fruity taste that is sure to pick you up. Some of my favorite recipes comes from the Darkmoon Fair with the Nomercan nuggets, honey pot pie, Darkmoon donuts, and sarsaparilla sinker. I think my neighbor is having a mental breakdown. I don't know what's going on. She's fighting with her daughter, and this is an older woman. I am going nuts. The Nomercan nuggets, Darkmoon Fair. Nothing beats some delicious fair food. These cubes of tender white meat are a popular snack at the Darkmoon Fair. I'm really looking forward to creating some Darkmoon Fair themed content. Oh wow. The honey pot pie. I am told this dish came from the islands, but a wandering adventurer got encountered at the Darkmoon Fair first introduced it to me. Looks great. And the Darkmoon donuts. Oh wow. Could there be any fair food more classic than the Darkmoon donut? I hear these decadently sweet treats with a dark berry topping also make for a pretty good fishing bait. And the sarsaparilla sinker. There I was, wandering the tents of Darkmoon Fair amidst the music and hubbubs, when I heard this someone lonely accused me of being thirsty, and as a matter of fact I was. Some from Nashatar, Northern Outland and beyond. Hasty hummus, dried fruit, rations, bread of the dead, Blitzburg bagels, rock bites, wild berry treats, sea salt, java, lava chocolate, caraway, burn wine, and Alani whiskey. Azeroth is vast, and I traveled through many distant lands and a wild world in my quest for delicious foods. I discovered amazing recipes and been inspired by ingredients even in the most unexpected places. from the underwater city of Nashatar to icy Northrend and beyond. Is the hummus from the eye of eternity. There are many quick and easy recipes out there for hummus. A very quick hummus recipe. And the dried fruit rations of Hellfire Peninsula. In the heat and arid climate of the Hellfire Peninsula, these fruit rations almost bake themselves. Bread of the dead worldwide. These vibrant skull loaves are a key feature of the Day of the Dead festival across Azeroth. Bladespire bagels of Bladespire. Before settling out to collect these recipes, I was surprised to find something this delicious among the Bladespire ogres. Rock bites, the maelstrom. Although some might claim that these little sweets will break your jaw with their earth and power, I never found that to be a problem. Wildberry bread of Nashatar. Here's a charming recipe I picked up from a tortola collector over in Nashatar. And the sea salt java of Nashatar. This one is the rarer recipes I come across in my travels, although for the little life of me I can't see why it's only sold in a couple of inns under the sea in Nashatar, of all places. Lava colada of the maelstrom. According to my body gravy, if you find yourself surrounded by pools of molten lava, it is the best way to beat the heat with a frozen drink. Caraway burn wine of the Borean Tundra. At first glance, trading a limited supply of rare Kultiran wine for some caraway burn wine might seem like a bad bargain, but only if you have never had it before. A lot of drink recipes in this book. The Alani whiskey, Nagrand. You're in for a treat with this classic fire whiskey. One of the best things about making infused drink is that the fire part is only in the name. That was the last recipe. Not as beautiful made as the last book, but it's so charming to go through this and nostalgic. Here's the dietary chart and conversion chart. This is really good. I don't think we have that in the last book since I am Swedish and we use the metric systems and Celsius. And the only index alphabetically. A little bit about the others. That's it. I really hope you enjoy this soft-spoken ASMR content, even though I have a lot of noise coming from the apartment next door. I hope you're also getting as excited I am for the ASMR cooking videos in the future. Thank you